Good day everyone! Today, I'm going to present to you the poem entitled To the Flowers of Heidelberg, a literature na isinulat ni Dr. Jose Rizal under the Spanish colonialism. In February 3, 1886, the 25-year-old Jose Rizal arrived in Heidelberg, Germany from Paris with the goal of pursuing his study on ophthalmology. It was the main reason for his decision to study abroad because he wanted to become an eye specialist upang mapagaling ang kanyang ina from an eye ailment. Heidelberg is considered one of the most beautiful cities in Germany. The picturesque ensemble of the castle, the old town, and the river Neckar surrounded by hills which inspire the poets and artists of Romanticism still fascinates millions of visitors from all over the world today. Heidelberg is a very beautiful place. The picturesque scenery o anime paintings ng mga tanawin, kakaiba yung surroundings, old-fashioned but the appearance is very romantic and attractive. Kaya naman, noon at hanggang ngayon, patuloy pa rin itong dinadayo at paboritong puntahan ng mga artists, poets, writers, researchers, and tourists. Heidelberg was one of the most best places that Rizal visited during his 1.5 year na pananatili niya sa Germany. 2 days after his arrival in the city, he immediately fell in love with the historic and romantic city. During weekends, Rizal visits the scenic spot around Heidelberg, including the famous Heidelberg Castle, theater, old churches, and romantic river like Neckar River. During springtime, fragrant flowers can be seen in abundance and in bloom in both the public gardens, plazas, and along the cool banks of the Neckar River, kung saan ay dito niya nakita at nabighani siya sa ganda ng bulaklak na nakita niya. A light blue flower na tinatawag na forget-me-nots. Forget-me-not flowers represents true love. Giving someone this flower means you truly love and respect him or her and symbolizes your relationship and promises that you will never forget him or her. These beautiful spring flowers reminded him of the blooming flowers at the garden of his home in Calamba, Laguna. Kaya naman noong April 22, 1886, Rizal wrote a poem entitled A Las Flores del Heidelberg in Spanish or To the Flowers of Heidelberg in English translation because he was fascinated by these blooming flowers along the cool banks of the Neckar River. So, at this moment, I'm going to recite to you the poem, The Flowers of Heidelberg. Go to my country, go, O foreign flowers, sown by the traveler along the road, and under that blue heaven that watches over my loved ones, recount the devotion the pilgrim nurses for his native sod. Go and say that when dawn opened your chalices for the first time beside the icy Neckar, you saw him silent beside you, thinking of her constant vernal climb. Say that when dawn which steals your aroma was whispering playful love songs to your young sweet petals, he too murmured canticles of love in his native tongue. That in the morning when the sun first traces the topmost peak of Königstal in gold and with a mild warmth races to life again the valley, the glade, the forest. He hails that sun still in its dawning, that in his country in full zenith blazes. And tell of that day when he collected you along the way, among the ruins of feudal castle, on the banks of the Neckar or in a forest nook. Recount the words he said as with great care between the pages of a worn-out book. He pressed the flexible petals that he took. Carry, carry, O flowers, my love to my loved ones, peace to my country and its fecund loam, faith to its men and virtue to its women, health to the gracious beings that dwell within the sacred paternal home. When you reach that shore, deposit the kiss I gave you on the wings of the wind above, that with the wind it may rove, and I may kiss all that I worship, honor, and love. But oh, you will arrive there, flowers, and you will keep perhaps your vivid hues, but far from your native heroic earth, to which you owe your life and worth, your fragrances you will lose. For fragrance is a spirit that never can forsake, and never forgets the sky that saw its birth. So, for everyone to better understand the meaning of the poem, I'm going to explain to you the meaning or interpretation of each stanza. In the first stanza, Rizal poetically requests the flowers of Heidelberg to speak of him in his loved ones and motherland because he was homesick for his native Philippines and it made him remembered his family whom he loves so much. Dito naman sa second, third, and fourth stanzas, binanggit niya lang dito kung paano nagsisimula yung araw niya, starting from sunrises and ends with sunset, which made him feel connected with his motherland. Sa fifth paragraph, he poetically describes his plan for the flowers to carry his message to his motherland. He picked petals of the flower, then plucks them and preserves them in his book. In the sixth stanza, he asked the flower in poetic terms to bring peace, virtue to women, courage to men, and serve as his instrument to say how he loved his family and his motherland. In the seventh stanza, he kissed the flower and tell to it na when you reach my motherland, release the kiss that I deposit in you, in the wind above as if it may be carried by the wind to his loved ones at parang nahagkan na rin niya ang mga mahal niya sa buhay in that way. At sa huling stanza, it reflected on its utter futility since the flower will no longer be the same when it reaches the country. Kung gaano kabango at kaganda yung intentions and message ni Rizal na gusto niyang iparating will never be the same. Mawawala ng saysay when it reaches his motherland because the flower will be far away from its fatherland. Ang lalim, di ba? Pero sa mas madaling salita, the nostalgic poem to the Flower of Heidelberg, wrote by Dr. Jose Rizal in his lonely moments, it is a poem of loneliness, longing, and homesickness. Rizal requested the flower to symbolize for him and speak for him when the flowers arrived to his motherland, Philippines. Rizal used the flowers as a symbol of his love for his motherland. Thank you.